You can't do an act of war and then say, but peace, right? We can have peace, right? You shouldn't have done the act of war if you wanted peace.
As expected, everybody who supported Trump because he was anti-war completely flipped as soon as Trump started a new war. They try to hold off for a little bit, but at the end of the day, they are compelled to bend the knee to whoever has power at the time. Kulinsky takes to his show Secular Talk to call out Charlie Kirk for his utter hypocrisy and spinelessness. So let's watch these clips and we'll talk about it afterwards.
So MAGA is now put in the unfortunate position of having to choose the principles that they claimed they had or Donald Trump himself. Take a wild guess which direction they're going to go. So this segment here, which I'm about to break down for you, is wild because there are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. MAGA is bending the knee, genuflecting at the altar of Trump, and going full warmonger like the little loser beta cucks they are. So let's start with this one here. This is Charlie Kirk. So here's what he said before Trump launched war against Iran. It's going unnoticed because so much other news is happening, but the war drums are beating again in D.C. The warmongers worry that this is their last chance to get the white whale they've been chasing for 30 years, an all-out regime change war against Iran. A new Middle East war would be a catastrophic mistake. Our military stockpiles are depleted from 3 years of backing Ukraine. Our effort to reshore manufacturing has only just begun and will take years to bear fruit. War would worsen our already immense deficit and national debt. Iran is larger than Iraq, Syria, and Afghanistan combined. A war would not be easy and could easily become a calamity. Then afterwards, with the weight of the world on his shoulders, President Trump acted for the betterment of humanity. For the next few hours, spare us the armchair quarterbacking and instead trust our commander-in-chief. So before, bro, regime change war would be a catastrophe, it'd be so wrong, bro. Trump launches exactly that. Bro, well done. Masterful gambit, sir. You had the weight of the world on your shoulders. And nobody criticize him. Nobody criticize him. Don't armchair quarterback, bro. Trust our commander-in-chief. Oh, we are just getting started, y'all. Iran gave President Trump no choice. For a decade, he has been adamant that Iran will never get a nuclear weapon. Iran decided to forego diplomacy in pursuit of a bomb. That's a lie, by the way. This is a surgical strike, operated perfectly. President Trump acted with prudence and decisiveness. This is embarrassing. By the way, that talking point of Trump has always been clear Iran cannot get a nuclear weapon. This is a talking point that was literally drafted by the Trump regime and by AIPAC and sent out to their little stormtroopers. And they say, use this argument to defend his illegal and offensive war against Iran, a country that didn't attack us. There are marching orders from the top down, from AIPAC and from the Trump regime. Here's how you defend his illegal and offensive war. Here's before Trump starts a war with Iran. This is insane. Regime change will result in a bloody civil war, killing hundreds of thousands and creating another massive Muslim refugee crisis. Toppling a leader is never as easy as you think. It almost always results in further involvement, a civil war, and chaos. Resist this! After? A bottom-up revolution. This is after Trump came out and said, regime change, I like regime change, let's do regime change in Iran. Charlie Kirk says, a bottom-up revolution rises from the will of the people. A top-down regime change is engineered by elites and the intel community. One is organic, the other is orchestrated, forced. The line is very thin and must proceed extremely carefully. Before you know it, we could be in a situation like Libya. President Trump is talking about an organic uprising. America cannot get involved in a forceful decapitation effort in Persia. Oh my God, bro. Trump literally comes out and says, I love regime change. Regime change is great. We should do regime change in Iran. Make Iran great again. And here's Charlie Kirk like, what? What he's trying to say is regime change is bad if it's top down, but good if it's bottom up. And Trump is saying do it bottom up. How is it bottom up if he just attacked their 3 top nuclear facilities, you fucking fraud? That's not bottom up. What are you talking about? Oh my God, this is so humiliating. Understand, man, this is how his bread is buttered. He is a regime puppet. That's what he is. He got his start in Republican Party politics. And he's going to stay in Republican Party politics. He's funded by right-wing think tanks and billionaires. He started the TPUSA group, which is an attempt to make young people more conservative, more Republican, more MAGA. The idea that I'm going to stand on principle and ruin my entire career and actually go in the other direction now and crusade against the guy who literally gives him phone calls and pats him on the head, right? Trump literally has been in contact with a lot of these right-wing influencers, trying to keep them in the loop and trying to get them to defend him. He's doing it with sloppy Steve Bannon. He's doing it with Charlie Kirk. This has been reported. These guys are not going to burn their bridge. They are hacks. They are losers. They are charlatans.
Being a hack is part of the job. He's not just political, as we are here, but he's partisan. It's all about go team go. If Hillary Clinton was a Republican in name and not just in policy, then he would love her and think she's the best thing since sliced bread. All he had to do was get a direct order, and within a week, he completely flipped on what he claimed to be something he thought was important. As soon as he got the order to shut up and bend the knee, now it's, well, those other ones were bad. Not this one. This one is from our dear leader. So it must be good by definition. I can't imagine being that type of a hack. How much would someone have to pay you to be that kind of a hack? Is it a couple 100,000? Maybe a couple million? Let me know.
Look how quickly they flipped on a fucking dime, even when it was a principle that they said they had at their core. Gone out the window. Principles my ass cheeks. All right, I'm still not done. Let's go to Laura Loomer. This was back January 29th, 2024. Today, Nikki Haley went on CNBC and called for the U.S. to bomb Iran. Nikki Haley wants more war in the Middle East, which means more dead U.S. soldiers. The only person who has proven that he won't create more wars is Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the pro-peace candidate. Fast forward to today. Breaking. President Trump confirms the U.S. just bombed all 3 nuclear sites in Iran. He said all U.S. planes are now on their way home. Thank you, President Trump. Tee-hee-hee. Now I love war because Trump did it. Tee-hee-hee. I really hope there are some people who were in MAGA who are watching this segment. Because if you have a single honest bone in your body, not only should you be done with these motherfuckers, you should dedicate your time to crusading against them and exposing them. No more holding people's hands and singing Kumbaya. So, I could kind of see it from your perspective. No, it's time to fucking crusade. Look at how clearly absurd this is. How clearly contradictory and hypocritical. Look how... I'm trying to hold back. I don't want to get banned on YouTube, which I'm very close to doing if I say what I want to say. But you get the point. This is unacceptable. All these people are fucking unacceptable. Total hacks. They're not honest actors.
That was a shot at Cenk directly, because as we covered before, Cenk came on the Breaking Points with Kulinsky and Crystal Ball and argued that, yes, the media and the politicians are going to completely bend the knee when it's time to, but the reason that they had to pretend to be anti-war was because their audience was actually anti-war. So Kyle is throwing shots at Cenk saying, we can't play nice with these people, which is true in regards to the media members, but it may not necessarily be true for their viewers, because at the end of the day, the viewers are just regular people with no power that are not getting paid millions of dollars to be hacks.
Here's one of the big MAGA Twitter accounts, MAGA Voice. Trump will end all of these nonsense wars, he said on November 11th, 2024. Now, breaking. President Trump used multiple B-2 stealth bombers to strike Iran's nuclear sites. Trump had this all master planned out. I stand with Trump. I don't even need to add commentary at this point, bro. Just enjoy. Just enjoy as we go through this. Another big MAGA account. Seeing all these panicans thinking Trump is going to push us into a war with Iran is so fucking laughable. Then, when Trump does bring us into a war with Iran and he announces it on his Twitter account, this person says, fuck around and find out. Supporting it. Gunther Eagleman, another big right-wing Twitter account. Just in, President Trump's administration tells allies it will not get involved in war against Iran unless Iran attacks Americans. Good, not our war. Now, after he attacks Iran, I stand with Trump. I trust Trump. He made the right call. How many of these people are literally directly on the payroll? That's what we need to find out. How many of them are getting paid by AIPAC? How many of them are getting paid by the Trump regime? How many of them are directly on the payroll? DC Drano says, Trump didn't declare war. He dropped some bombs, then called for peace. Could you imagine Russia or China or Iran launching an attack on our major nuclear facilities and then afterwards going, bro, we need peace. Why don't you guys want to agree to peace, bro? You can't do an act of war and then say, but peace, right? We can have peace, right? You shouldn't have done the act of war if you wanted peace.
Those people's whole platforms is based on partisanship. And not even just for the party, but just for this one person. I wonder what they're going to do after his presidency. But their whole existence is go team go. People like Charlie Kirk and bigger names probably get paid directly by super PACs because of their influence. But some of these smaller accounts, they get paid directly because of their engagement with this specific party. They might not even have the wiggle room to have any principles. It's built on being a hack. And they might not be able to talk against the current regime. It was easy being anti-war when that was the message going out. We'll see if their audience are going to act like robots and just completely flip the switch. It may happen, it may not. My favorite part about all of this is that nobody asks, who's going to pay for that? Who's going to pay for that? When it's anything for you, there has to be months-long debate on every single cent spent. But for war, it's endless and it's quick and it happens overnight and everyone finds out at the same time after it already happened. How is that budget unlimited? But if you're still here, you might as well like the video and subscribe to the channel. Peace.